Alright, so this video is for Darren or anyone else who forgot or hasn't done the test or something like that because they need to relearn the material. But I'm just going to go over quickly again the different things that we're doing and how to do them so that way you can get it done. Alright, so Darren, okay, so I'm going to explain first systems of equations. So systems of equations, we had two types. We had substitution and we had elimination. You can tell if it's substitution because you'll have a variable by itself. Let's say y equals 3x plus 2, and then you'll have a normal equation 4x minus 2y equals, let's say, okay, negative 8. Okay, that's what a substitution problem will look like. Elimination, you'll have two problems that look like this. So you'll have something like, I don't know, 3x plus 4y equals 11. Or 5x minus 2y equals 1. So, I'm going to go over briefly how to do each set, and then you're going to practice them. So, with substitution, what you have to notice is that you have a y equals something. That means a y is equivalent. Y is the same as 3x plus 2. So wherever I see y in any other equation, I can replace it with 3x plus 2. Well, when we look at this equation right here, we have a y. Okay, so the y equals 3x plus 2. So instead of writing this y, since y is equivalent to this, instead of writing y here, I can write 3x plus 2 here. Alright, so when I do that, you get 4x minus 2 parentheses. So I'm rewriting this equation, but instead of the y, I am writing 3x plus 2. Now, when I do that, okay, you'll notice that now all I have is x's. The y's go away, so all I have is one variable, and I'm actually able to solve for this. And that's the whole process of why we did this, is because we want to be able to solve for a variable. Now, the first step after that is you have a negative 2 right here. It's in front of the parentheses, and as you know, anything in front of parentheses means multiplication, and it means to multiply the things on the inside, or the distributive property. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Is you're going to take this negative 2 and you're going to distribute it to the two numbers on the inside. So negative 2 times 3 and negative 2 times 4. Okay, when we do that, we get 4x minus 6x minus 4 equals negative 8. Okay, which we get this problem right here. So after that, what we had to do is combine like terms. Well, the only like terms are the things with the x's or the numbers. Since these are on opposite sides of the equal sign, they can't combine, but these two can. We just take 4 and negative 6, so 4 minus 6, negative 2, minus 4 equals negative 8. Okay? The next step, we had to get rid of the 4 because it's a two-step equation now, so before we even touch this x, we had to get rid of the 4, so we had to add 4 to both sides. So you get negative 2x equals negative 4. Last but not least, we had to get x by itself, so we had to divide by negative 2. Okay, so we get x ends up being 2. Now that we know what x is, we have to go back to one of the original equations, which is this one up here. If we're going to plug this in, that means we're going to replace the x, which we just found out to be 2. We're going to replace this x with 2, so it's going to become y equals 3 instead of the 2, or instead of this x, we're going to write a 2 plus 2. This is going to give us y equals 6 plus 2, or y equals 8. So our answers are x equals 2, y equals 8. So that's substitution. Elimination. Well, elimination, we don't have that one variable by itself like in substitution, so we have to eliminate a variable in a different way. And that is to actually get a positive and a negative version of the same number with the same variable. So first we're going to look at the x's. We're going to see, can we eliminate the x's? Technically we can, but I'm going to show you the easiest route to do this. So first let's look at the x's. Can 3 multiply to give us 5? Well, the only way we can take 3 times anything to get to 5 is with a fraction, so no, we're not going to be able to do that. So from 5 to 3, well, once again, you can't multiply 5 to get to 3 without doing a fraction, so this doesn't work. Alright, let's look at the y's. Well, 4 to 2, you can't really multiply anything by 4 to get to 2 without doing a fraction. Finally, 2 to 4. Okay, so that's where the light comes on. We can actually multiply something by 2 to get to 4. Alright? Now, we can multiply by 2. We can multiply the whole equation by 2. The next step before we even do anything else is to figure out, okay, so if we do multiply by this by 2, will that give us a positive and a negative of the same number? Well, we already have a positive 4, so if I multiply this by 2, this will give me a negative 4 since it's got a minus sign in front. So yes, we'll have a positive and negative when this is done and over with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole equation, the smaller y, not the bigger one, but the smaller y, that whole equation is going to be multiplied by 2. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite this top equation because we're not changing it whatsoever. And then we're going to multiply everything in the bottom equation. So first you're going to take this 2, you're going to multiply this 5. Well, that's going to give us 10. You're going to take this 2 and multiply this negative 2. That's going to give us negative 4 y. And then we're going to take this 2 and we're going to multiply this 1. That's going to give us 2. Okay? Now that we've done that, we've changed this to this, we're going to combine downwards. That means to add downwards. Okay, so this is a positive 3 plus a positive 10, gives us a 13x. A positive 4 plus a negative 4, so positive plus a negative of the same number crosses out. And then finally 11 plus 2 gives us 13. Okay. Next step is pretty easy, since we just divide by 13 to get x by itself. So x equals 1. Now that we know that x equals 1, we're going to go back to the original equation. Alright, one of the two, it doesn't matter which. I'm going to choose this top one because it's probably easier. So I'm going to take that x, I'm going to replace the x with 1. And then I'm just going to solve. This becomes 3 plus 4y equals 11. First subtract 3, subtract 3, 4y equals 8, divide by 4, divide by 4, y equals 2. So we have our x1, y2. So that's substitution elimination. Next is inequality signs. So you've got 4 inequality signs. Okay? You have a less than, a greater than sign. We have a less than and equal to and a greater than and equal to. Okay. So this is less than, but this is less than or equal to, and this is greater than, and greater than or equal to. Okay? Now, I'm just going to explain these now so I don't have to explain it later.